Hi, this is E.T., and this is former President Donald Trump. You know that. Currently under indictment in various locales for various charges, including just about everything except, well, littering. While it appears that the reasoning behind the charges are politically motivated in ways similar to those used in the Third World and totalitarian countries, Trump is not the first candidate for high office to be subjected to litigation and more while campaigning. This is Eugene Debs, once a perennial candidate for the big office, campaigning as a socialist in 1904, 1908, 1912, and 1920. During that last election, Debs garnered 3.4% of the popular vote, while at the time he was serving a 10-year sentence in an Atlanta prison. Debs' crime was this, and I'm quoting the judge. Mr. Debs issued remarks that had a tendency to bring about resistance to the draft. I'm going to repeat that. This is the judge. Debs made remarks that had a tendency to bring about resistance to the draft. Debs' statements occurred as the U.S. was entering World War I and was trying to raise an army to fight against Germany, something that many Americans preferred not to do. And Congress had passed a very questionable act, the Espionage Act of 1917, that imposed a $10,000 fine, that's about $240,000 today, and a 10 years jail sentence for, among other things, inciting Americans to refuse to join the military. Keep in mind that during the Vietnam conflict, that was something millions of people did in the 1960s and 70s. After Debs received well over 1 million votes for president while he occupied a jail cell, the newly elected Republican president, Warren Harding, against the wishes of the former Democratic president, Woodrow Wilson, who pressed for Debs' indictment and imprisonment, Harding made plans to release Debs on July 4, Independence Day, 1921, and he sent a car to pick Debs up. Debs was allowed a temporary release from prison, and against the wishes of Mrs. Harding, against the wishes of the new Attorney General, against the wishes of the American Legion, Harding had a man take Debs to the White House. By the way, along the way, Debs was asked, "Do you need anything?" And Debs said, "Yes, toothpicks." The driver stopped the car, went to a store, got in, handed Debs a bundle of toothpicks. Harding met Debs in front of the White House, and he was accompanied by a large number of Debs' supporters. Before Debs arrived, a rude woman demanded from Harding a yes or no answer to her question, "Will you pardon Mr. Debs?" Harding, always conscious of the dignity of his office, replied with these words, "My dear woman, you may demand anything you please out of Warren Harding. He will not resent it. But the President of the United States has the right to keep his own counsel, and the office I occupy forbids me to reply to you as I should like to do if I were elsewhere." Once together in Harding's office, Debs and Harding had a talk, and Harding announced a pardon for Debs and 23 other political prisoners, and he told Debs to stop by again when he was officially released in July. And he later told Debs, as they were ending their meeting, "I have heard so much about you, Mr. Debs, that now I am very glad to meet you personally." Outside the White House, Debs told reporters later, well, very little, because he'd promised Harding he'd never reveal anything about their chat. But he did say this, "Mr. Harding appears to be, to me, a kind gentleman. We understand each other perfectly." Debs died 5 years later at the age of 70, having never revealed details of his talk with President Harding. And that, boys and girls, is the story. If you liked it, tap the thumb up icon, subscribe, and do share this video. Thank you.